Imagine this. You wake up in the dead of night, your heart pounding, drenched in cold sweat. A dream, vivid, haunting, has shaken you awake. But as you grasp for its meaning, it slips through your fingers like smoke. You feel it, though, an invisible force, pulsing beneath your thoughts, shaping your choices, steering your life in ways you can't name. What if this force isn't random? What if it's the hidden language of your soul, whispering truths you've been too distracted to hear? Carl Jung called it the unconscious, a vast, uncharted ocean of energy beneath the surface of your awareness. Most live their entire lives ignoring it, like sleepwalkers mistaking shadows for reality. But here's the paradox. The very thing you dismiss as just a dream or a weird feeling might be the key to unlocking a life of uncanny synchronicity, creativity, and power. What if magic isn't supernatural, but the art of harnessing this invisible energy? The question isn't whether this force exists, it's whether you'll dare to listen. Why do we ignore this force? Because modern life is a conspiracy against depth. We've been conditioned to worship the visible, logic, productivity, material success, while dismissing the unseen currents that truly move us. Carl Jung warned of this. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. Society trains you to fear the irrational, to distrust the whispers of intuition. Friedrich Nietzsche saw this too, declaring that invisible threads are the strongest ties. Yet we numb ourselves with distraction, drowning out the inner voice with noise, screens, and endless busyness. The result? A life half lived, a self estranged from its own depths, the real tragedy. This disconnection isn't passive, it's an active suppression. The unconscious doesn't vanish when ignored. It rebels. It surfaces as anxiety, as inexplicable longings, as dreams that won't be silenced. You are haunted by the very energy you refuse to wield. What if your deepest struggles aren't random, but coded messages from a force begging to be acknowledged? The first step to reclaiming it is recognizing you've been at war with yourself, and the battlefield is your awareness. This silent war has casualties. When you suppress the unconscious, it doesn't disappear, it morphs. It becomes the inexplicable rage that flares in traffic, the self-sabotage that derails your ambitions, the eerie déjà vu of repeating the same mistakes. Cognitive science confirms it. Your brain makes decisions seconds before you consciously choose, as if something deeper is pulling the strings. Cultures across history knew this force, called it Kai, Prana, Mana, but modernity reduced it to superstition. Yet Viktor Frankl, surviving the horrors of Auschwitz, wrote that the unconscious is God's will made flesh. Even neuroscience now admits over 95% of your cognition happens in the shadows. You are not thinking your thoughts. You are receiving them from a hidden source. The consequence? A life spent reacting, not creating. Your relationships, your career, your very identity are shaped by forces you've never met. The patterns you can't break, the coincidences you dismiss, they're not accidents. They're the unconscious, screaming to be decoded. The question is no longer if this force controls you, but how much longer you'll let it operate in the dark. The escape begins with a dangerous truth. You must court the irrational to regain control. Ancient mystics and modern psychologists agree the unconscious speaks in symbols, not spreadsheets. Start by tracking the whispers, the fleeting daydream you dismiss, the gut feeling you override, the nightmare that lingers like a stain. Jung called this active imagination, dialogue with the unseen. History's greatest rebels did this. Einstein harnessed thought experiments. Tesla tuned into visions. Kafka wrote from the depths of his own torment. Their genius wasn't in resisting the unconscious, but in surrendering to its logic. Schopenhauer was right. Man can do what he wills, but he cannot will what he wills. Your task isn't to command this force, but to align with it. Practical alchemy. Keep a dream journal. Sit in silence until the void answers. Follow the obsessions that scare you. The unconscious rewards courage with clarity. Every repressed emotion faced becomes energy reclaimed. This isn't self-help. It's soul reclamation. The rebellion starts when you realize the prison door was never locked. You were just afraid to turn the handle. Here's the revelation that changes everything. There is no you separate from this force. The ego's greatest lie is that it rides the waves of consciousness, when in truth, it is the wave. Jung's collective unconscious suggests it. You aren't just accessing hidden energy. You are the energy, and so is every person who ever lived. The synchronicities, the déjà vu, the uncanny instincts, these aren't glitches. They're proof. When Nietzsche declared, "You must become chaos to give birth to a dancing star," this was his meaning. True power comes not from dominating the unconscious, but from merging with it. The artist knows this when the brush moves itself. The lover knows it when words spill out unplanned. The warrior knows it when their body fights before the mind decides. This is the magic you've been starving for, not control, but partnership. The invisible force was never outside you. It was the part of you that never forgot how to dance. Now, will you keep pretending or let the dance begin?